This is the regular weekly meeting of the Mobile City Council for Tuesday, September 13th, 2016. Please stand as we are led in an invocation by Councilmember Joel Daves, District 5, and remain standing afterwards for the Pledge of Allegiance and the National Anthem.
O God, our Heavenly Father, whose servant St. Peter counseled us to honor all men. Thank you. Love the brotherhood, fear God, and honor the King. Keep steadily before us the reverence we owe thee, the loyalty due our country, the respect which is proper for our traditions, and the devotion we should gladly give to all whom we call our brothers. By all the memories of a great past which strengthen us, sustain us, we pray, in our efforts to be thy servants in the creation of a new and better world which approaches the kingdom of God. Bless us in this fellowship of this gathering. Guide us in the making of right decisions, and give us grateful hearts for the blessings of life and love and the opportunities of Christian service now and always. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If you would please remain standing for a moment of silent prayer, and I will ask Councilman Manzi if he would introduce those who we would like to remember in our prayers. Councilman?
This city has recently lost two great residents in the persons of Pastor Bobby Millsap and also Dr. Robert Zarzor. So I'm going to ask that we would commemorate their contributions to our community by a moment of silence.
Councilman? If you would please remain standing for the national anthem, and Councilman Manzi is going to introduce a young lady who is coming to sing for us.
It is my great pleasure to introduce Miss Emily Dickinson. She's a student at Council Traditional School, which happens to be located in the greatest district in the city of Mobile, wow. District 2.
Can you put the microphone down a little bit for her? Make sure.
It's not staying.
All right, there you go. That's good.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous flight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Yeah.
Thank you. That was terrific. We appreciate you coming.
Roll call. President Gregory.
Here.
Vice President Richardson. Here. Councilmember Manzi.
Here.
Councilmember Small.
Here.
Councilmember Williams.
Here.
Councilmember Daves.
Here.
Councilmember Rich.
Here.
Statement of rules.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Great to see you all here in the auditorium.
That's right.
We are happy to be back, and boy, doesn't this look nice. What a great job. We were certainly due for an upgrade, and it's beautiful. So I want to thank everybody for doing it, and thank you for your patience, but it was well worth it. So thanks, and good to see you this morning. We have a number of things going on in our city that I'd like to tell you about briefly. This coming Saturday is the 29th annual Coastal Cleanup. That's all along the coast. And you know, over the years, 28 years as a matter of fact, more than 83,000 volunteers have picked up more than 1.5 million pounds of trash all along the coastline. If you would like to volunteer, you can visit their website or their Facebook to find the exact zone where you need to volunteer. So go to those two areas and please volunteer on Saturday if you have a chance. Our 2016 Fighting for a Cure t-shirts for the fire department are here now, and I've been told that they are available for purchase. Of course, they're trying to raise money for finding a cure for cancer, and they're in a little bit of a friendly competition to see who can sell the most shirts and raise the most money, so please pass the word along. Short sleeves are $15, long sleeves are $20. They also have youth sizes available. The colors are pink, white, and navy. You can call the fire department or email Percy Harris over at the fire department, and they will certainly sell you a shirt or 2 dozen. So please take advantage of that. We always like to help the fire department as they raise money for breast cancer. And we have more capital projects on our agenda today. That's always exciting. We have some pretty sizable projects that we're very proud of. One includes Moores Creek East Branch Phase 2, and that is primarily in Mr. Williams' district. We have a contract for some major improvements at Medal of Honor Park, something that Mrs. Rich has been working on. The renderings that you see over my shoulder here look fantastic. If you haven't seen them, following the meeting, take a close look. Very exciting for District 6. And we also have a contract for stormwater litter control structures and drainage and inlet repairs. That's citywide. These are things that we always need. Seems like there's never enough money to repair all of the inlets that seem to either dissolve or crack or something happens to them, so we're happy to see this work get underway. Rules of the council are very simple. We just ask everyone to please turn off all of your electronic devices. If you come to the podium to speak, you'll have 5 minutes. At the end of 4 minutes, you'll hear the buzzer. At that point, you need to go ahead and wrap up your comments. If you have questions or concerns, you will address those to me. I'm the chair, and I will ask the appropriate member of the administration or council to resolve those concerns at that time. Again, we're happy to have you all here this morning. Look forward to meeting some special guests coming up shortly during the mayor's messages. So thanks again. Ms. Merchant?
Approval of minutes of the meeting of September 6th.
So moved. Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Communications from the mayor's office.
Morning. I'm like you. I'm delighted to be back in the auditorium. This time I would ask Chief Barber and Officer Joshua Nix to please come to the podium and face the council while I read this month's Officer of the Month presentation. On August 31st, Officer Nix responded to a robbery in progress. He observed 2 suspects who exited the business, got into a vehicle, and fled the scene. His pursuit led him to Village Green Drive, where one of the suspects left the vehicle and fled on foot. Officer Nix continued to pursue the vehicle and apprehended the remaining 2 suspects without incident. All 3 were arrested for the commercial robbery. 1 suspect had federal warrants and 2 have federal investigations pending. His initiative, his enthusiasm, and excellence in his overall performance make him a tremendous asset to the city of Mobile. Now, on behalf of all Mobilians, we are pleased to award this certificate of recognition to him as Officer of the Month, August 2016, with our sincerest thanks. Thank you very much. But just to add that Officer Nix has been on MPD for 5 years. He has a 5-year-old daughter, and as he says, he loves his job, and he is in the 1st precinct and has been there almost the entire time, and he says that's where the action is and that's where he likes to be. Right. So thank you, Officer Nix, for your service.
Thank you.
At this time, I'd ask Ms. Hamilton to please come to the podium. I have an opportunity to read a proclamation. The proclamation reads, whereas Patriotic Education Week is a week focused on implementing efforts to familiarize students with our national anthem, heritage, and identity, and whereas the week of September 11th through the 17th encompasses Patriots Day, Constitution Day, and Citizenships Day, as well as the anniversary of the Battle of Fort McHenry, where the words of our national anthem were inspired in Francis Scott Key's mind, And whereas the Major Uriah Blue chapter of the National Society of the United States Daughters of 1812 and the Tristan de Luna chapter of the Daughters of the American Revolution in Mobile, Alabama have joined forces in an effort to make this vision a reality for our students of our region. Now therefore I, William S. Stimson, do hereby proclaim September 11th through 17th Patriotic Education Week. Ms. Hamilton, we welcome any remarks that you may have.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mayor Stimson, for this first ever proclamation for Patriotic Education Week. I am a proud member of the Tristan de Luna chapter of the Daughters of the American Revolution and a member of the Major Uriah Blue chapter of Daughters of 1812. This week, of course, is one of the most significant weeks in the history of our country as we remember the tragic events of 9/11 and those who died in the Twin Towers and the first responders, followed by the anniversary of the penning of the Star-Spangled Banner by Francis Scott Key, and then ending up on the 17th as our celebration and commemoration of the signing of our country's most important document, the United States Constitution. The Daughters of the American Revolution have been actively involved in both observances of those special days, and we are just thrilled with the opportunity to receive this proclamation from Mayor Stimson and to be before you. I would like to just recognize very briefly some members of my organization. Ms. Faye Cook is Tristan de Luna's regent. Ms. Carol May is the president of the Daughters of 1812, and we have M.R. Andrews, who is the first vice regent of Tristan de Luna, and Debbie Kirkendall, who received recognition as the State Teacher of the Year, the Social Studies State Teacher of the Year at this past year's district meeting for DAR. So on behalf of the members of Tristan de Luna chapter and the Major Uriah Blue chapter, we are very grateful for you declaring this the first ever Patriotic Education Week in Mobile. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam President,
Mr. Daves?
thank you. I would like to commend your organization, both the Daughters of the American Revolution and the Daughters of the War of 1812, as the sacrifices of the men who gave us our independence recede into the background. It's all too easy for us to forget about those sacrifices and assume that the liberties we enjoy today were always ours. As you know, and as your sisters know, it was a close-run thing. We almost didn't make it. We almost didn't make it again in 1812, and it was only through severe sacrifices against a cruel enemy that we were able to achieve and perpetuate our independence. It's organizations like yours that play such an important part in helping the citizens of today remember those sacrifices. Thank you for the work you do.
All right, thank you, Mr. Daves. Mr. Richardson?
Yes, ma'am. I would just like to say, let us also not forget that Crispus Attucks was the first person to die in the American Revolution, and his name is largely forgotten, lest we forget Crispus Attucks.
All right. Thank you very much. Appreciate you all coming.
Madam President, if I can continue?
Sure. Go ahead,
Okay.
Mr. Mayor.
I would like to report on a meeting I had this past Sunday. Every quarter, the mayors of the 5 largest cities in the state endeavor to get together. So this past weekend, I joined Mayor William Bell of Birmingham, Mayor Todd Strange of Montgomery, and Mayor Walt Maddox of Tuscaloosa. Absent from the meeting was Mayor Battle of Huntsville. But the purpose of this meeting really was to meet in conjunction with, so that we could serve on a panel and address Leadership Alabama and Leadership Birmingham graduates to talk about law enforcement. And we had the opportunity to be in an auditorium, something like this. There were probably 150 participants who all were graduates, and so we were asked a series of questions, and then the audience was able to ask us questions apart from the moderator. And some of the things that came out had to do with the challenges that all of the major cities in Alabama are facing in law enforcement. The previous night, we had met and talked about issues that we're dealing with, and we also started talking about best practices and how was your individual department addressing specific issues. Joining us were the police chiefs. So having the police chiefs there with the mayors to interact with this dialogue of best practices was very, very helpful. One outcome is that the mayors, excluding Mayor Battle, but the mayors and their chiefs will come to Mobile and look at our Joint Operations Command because they're very interested in what we're doing there. But we also picked up on the things that they're doing from a community policing aspect that give us some ideas of things that we currently aren't doing, but would enhance our program of community policing. So very, very valuable. Another issue that is seldom talked about, but it was one that was really first and foremost that it seemed to be on each chief's mind, and that was the difficulty in hiring qualified police officers. Each one of them could articulate how many people that they had, that were interested. And if I remember right, in Birmingham, they had 600 people that were interested in being police officers. And by the time they drug tested them, by the time they went through the physicals, by the time they went through the background checks, I think they ended up with 30 people that were qualified. And their problem was it was going to take them a year from the time that they identified prospects before they could put them on the street. And when you're losing, as in Birmingham and Mobile, when you're losing 50 to 60 police officers a year, it is a huge challenge. And so we talked about the impediments that Birmingham and Mobile have in the hiring of police officers. And the idea was that we are going to come up with a suggestion to the personnel board in an effort to cut through some of the red tape so that we can expedite that process, because otherwise our communities, the major cities in the state of Alabama, will find themselves on the short end of being able to fill the ranks of their police forces. So very, very informative, very good meeting. I want to just comment to the City Council. We certainly appreciate you working with us, having to do with the police jurisdiction, and we will keep you apprised of the conversation that we have, going on with the county as we have something to report to you. At this time, I think that you really are apprised of everything that we know, but as the conversation continues, we will bring you up to speed. A new initiative. And I want to compliment Laura. She's behind me over there on my side doing a YouTube maybe of this, but this was her idea, talking about encouraging everyone to step up. And I call it the Step Up Challenge. And what that means is starting on October 1st from October 1st until November 1st, we're going to have an opportunity to log in and how many flights of stairs you walk up. I can say that I don't do it every day, but I've been walking the 11, even though I'm on the 10th floor, when you start in the basement, it's 11 flights to my office, and I've been doing it off and on for a year, and it really hasn't gotten any easier, which is very discouraging. But for those who are interested in doing this, you can log on to www.stepjockey.com, and you can start logging your progress. And contestants are encouraged to post on social media the pictures of you going up the steps, and that posting, which receives the most likes, will be declared the winner, if I understand the competition, which is, I hope some real creativity comes out here. And also, whoever the winner is gives me an opportunity to have dinner with them. So I look forward to that. But anybody that does 50 flights will receive a T-shirt. And if you don't have stairs, that's not a problem, because you can record the amount of steps that you take at work, and still be eligible to participate. Taking the stairs and taking the steps with people wearing the Fitbits and all, certainly hope that the idea is to spread among our community the importance of staying fit, and walking, stepping, and all that is very important. So I'm excited about it, and so I will now start logging how many flights I walk so that everybody will know. And anybody who wants to walk with me, you can meet me at about 7:45. We'll start at the basement and come to the top. So thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, Mayor.
I do have one other comment. Our Industry Day, which is a very important event last year, this will be our second Industry Day, and it's this Thursday, September 29th at 3:15 in Government Plaza Multi-Purpose Room. We will include presentations from our contracting opportunities for the 2017 Capital Improvement Plan, and there's also an opportunity for potential contractors to meet with city staff and learn more about the online vendor registration and vendor self-service. It's an example of our active and purposeful supplier diversity program. In order to truly have one Mobile, it's very important that those who want to contract with the city have the opportunity to do so, and understanding the process is an important ingredient to being able to get there. So we're looking forward to a good turnout this Thursday, September 29th at 3:15 in the multipurpose room. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, Mayor. Ms. Merchant.
Adoption of the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Appeals. We have an appeal of Jane Conkin of the approval by the Mobile Planning Commission of the application of SMW Engineering Group to allow a 150-foot cell tower in a B2 district.
We have somebody here
Oh,
to
okay.
address.
We have someone here to address this appeal. If you would come forward.
Thank you.
Yes, good morning. My name is David Berthum, and I live at 6351 Muirwoods Drive South. And I appreciate the opportunity to address the council and mayor and his staff. We have been, I'll use the term arguing for lack of a better term, with AT&T for over almost 3 years now, because they wanted to build a 150-foot cell tower right next to our neighborhood, within feet of it, along with a noisy generator. We have appealed, and you have that appeal, and we would ask that you would vote on that in our favor to put that to bed. Now, this was, I've got some handouts if y'all want to see the past trouble that we've gone to. For brevity, I'll just read the bottom line summary. We've asked AT&T to confirm that they really need this tower. That is the whole situation. We hired at our expense a radio frequency engineer who determined that AT&T had not gone as far as they could and were actually using 1990 technology instead of today's technology to get a better signal on co-locating on existing towers. With the help of the mayor's office last year, early last year, especially Mr. Woods, we came up with an agreement or an understanding with AT&T that they would look at all the options that our engineer came through with, and then they would tell us what those were. In response, our neighborhood would delay our appeal for a year until this date today. To our knowledge, in this past year, AT&T has not studied this, our options, nor proceeded with any of them. This would be co-locating on existing towers. If you look at your sheet, there are 4 towers within a close proximity of this new tower that they want to build. So we didn't see the need, and our radio frequency engineer confirmed that. So that's what we're asking for the council to put this appeal to bed. Now, this won't end the saga, because AT&T, who had been great with us, I have no problem with them. They're just trying to do their job, get better reception, make money. But any other company could come in and go to the same site or a different site in somebody else's neighborhood and do the same thing. The board of, what is it?
Planning Commission and the Board of
Yeah,
Adjustment.
yeah, the Planning Commission, I'm sorry, really doesn't have the authority to tell a tower company no. If it meets their zoning requirements, certain other standards, whether it's needed or not, the tower can be built in their respect, in their eyes. So what, in addition to approving our appeal, we would like you to take under consideration amending the Planning Commission's charter, if you will, for cell towers to include in the application fee of somebody wanting to build a cell tower, that they would allow the city to hire a radio frequency engineer to ensure that we don't proliferate all the cell towers. We've got options for 10 cell towers within a 2-mile radius of our location.
Madam President, with all respect there,
Mr. Williams?
the subject of the appeal is of, why we should or should not grant the appeal, not future action of the council, and just out of respect there for the rules there. Thank you.
Yeah, we appreciate this suggestion, and we'll certainly take it to heart. Thank you.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Because without that, the Planning Commission has really no authority, and they would have to approve
Right.
future towers. So that's where we are.
All right.
I thank you for your time.
All right, thank you. Is there anyone else here in the audience who would like to speak to this appeal today? Appellant or applicant?
I don't think the applicant can.
Yeah, I don't think the applicant is here.
I'll make a motion.
Mrs. Rich?
I'd like to make a motion and thank you, David, who is president of the Muir Woods Association. There were a group that came down to lobby their position. And I would like to urge the council to please grant their appeal in order to render the Planning Commission's decision null and void, with the understanding that granting the appeal is without prejudice to AT&T's ability to submit another application in the future.
All right, I'll second that. Discussion?
I'd like to.
Mrs. Rich?
Thank you. I appreciate also what David mentioned about looking at our ordinance that deals with this particular industry in town, because it was a real struggle to articulate exactly what AT&T could do, and the law is pretty user-friendly on that side of the aisle, in the sense that they produce the documents, because our ordinance says they have to prove they cannot co-locate, and then they can get a new site. And without having the technician on our staff, it's very difficult for the city to render whether those plans are correct. Now, Muir Woods went to the trouble and they assessed their neighborhood, and it was thousands of dollars to hire this outside technician. Not every neighborhood can do that. So if the city would do that through the application process, then every neighborhood would have a level playing field. And I know we are going through our zoning classifications, and I do hope that's one that our administration will urge our independent consultants to look at, because there are other cities that do it exactly like this, so we would not be inventing the wheel. So I'm glad you brought that up again and refreshed my memory about that. And again, I hope that the council supports this appeal at this point, so thank you.
All right, anyone else? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? All right, the appeal has been granted.
Request for waiver of the noise ordinance at 2451 DuBois Street on October 22nd from 6 to 10 p.m. on 1012 Adams Street, October the 1st, 362 Chin Street on September 17, 454 Charleston Street on October 1st, and 1307 MacArthur Street on September 24th.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion on these appeals? All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Public hearings. Today is the public hearing to fix the cost for demolition of structures at 2301 St. Stephen's Road. 1309 St. Mater Street, 552 Live Oak Street, 1859 Butler Street, and 1456, also known as 1458 Congress Street.
This is a public hearing for a number of properties to fix the costs for demolition. If there is anyone in the audience who would like to speak to any of these particular locations, please come to the podium. Yes, ma'am? If you would wait till you get to the podium so that we can get you on the microphone. We can't hear.
How y'all doing? I'm Bertie Schaumburger from the property on 139 St. Meter Street.
St. Meters?
Second one.
Okay, this is the second one. Yes, ma'am, go ahead.
They had told me they would
Can you move your mic down?
Yeah.
Schaumburger?
tear my property down, and they would not take it from me unless I try to sell it. They was gonna put a lien towards it for $500. Now I have a letter, they say I owe them $7,000.
Yes, ma'am, this public hearing is to fix the costs for the demolition, so it has been demolished.
Yes, ma'am, but they told me they was gonna tear it down for free on account of my income. That what the judge told me when they said they was gonna tear it down, and now they said they're gonna take it if I can't pay $7,000.
Okay, I think this is an issue that you're going to have to address with urban planning. I see David up above. David, you just want to speak with this couple? Yeah, why don't you meet with David right outside, and he will walk you through the process, if that's okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, this is still the public hearing. If there was anyone who would like to speak to any of these properties, please come to the podium. Okay, with that then, the public hearing is closed.
Presentation of petitions and other communications to the council. Bruce Lockett.
Is Mr. Lockett here? Okay.
Ordinances held over. Ordinance 01046, ordinance to enter contract to provide police and fire service in certain areas of Mobile County outside the corporate limits and police jurisdiction.
Move delay over 1 week.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Resolutions held over. 21557, authorized contract with C. Thornton for Morris Creek East Branch Phase 2.
So move.
Second. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Ordinance is being introduced. 01047.
By council rules, 01047 will lay over for 1 week.
Okay.
Consent resolutions being introduced. 03563 through 58571.
Motion to suspend the rules for immediate consideration of resolution 03563 through 58571.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
03563, appoint Walter Bell to the Water and Sewer Board of Commissioners.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
37564, recommend approval to the ABC Board for issuance of a special events retail license for Woodstock 2016.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
40565, 566, 567, 568, and 569, fix the cost for demolition of structures at 2301 St. Stephen's Road, 1309 St. Meter Street, 552 Live Oak Street, 1859 Butler Street, and 1456, also known as 1458 Congress Street.
So move.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
58570 and 58571, authorize removal of weeds, Group 1546, and assess cost for removal of weeds, repeat weed lien Group G2.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
CIP resolutions being introduced, 21572 through 21580.
580.
That's the one that was added.
Yeah.
for the janitorial
Oh, I didn't know
service.
that was consent. Okay, a motion for the suspension of rules for immediate consideration of resolutions 21573 and 570 and 21572 and 580 were laid over for 1 week by council rules.
All right. And second? Discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
21572, authorized contract with Acre Construction Corporation for Medal of Honor park improvements.
No, that's laying over.
This
I'm
one is-
sorry.
Yeah,
I wish.
yeah. This one will lay over for 1 week per council rules.
Right.
7-3.
We're at
21573, authorized contract with Burt Kleinpeter for 2016 CIP stormwater litter control structures and drainage and inlet repairs.
So moved.
Second, discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
09574, 575, and 576, reallocate monies from general fund IT equipment to capital project IT equipment and upgrades, and reallocate monies from general fund planning and development, professional and technical, to capital project facilities assessment, and also 100,000 from general fund architectural engineering, professional and technical, to capital project facilities assessment.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
21577, authorized contract with Gulf Coast Fence for Fire Station 14 and Fire Station number 16 fence replacement.
So moved.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
21578, authorized contract with Walters Controls to upgrade direct digital control system Mobile Museum of Art.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
21579, authorized contract with Lytix to provide video event monitoring and fleet tracking services.
Should that
So
not have been
moved.
left out as well?
Yes,
Should that
it
have
should
been
be
like
lay over for 1 week.
layover?
Yeah, anything over 50. What the cause is, CIP.
580 is the one that
All
we did want.
resolutions
That's
other than
already-
CIP over 50.
So you want to take 21580?
Yeah, let's take 21,580.
21580, authorized contract with Service Master Services for janitorial service, various facilities.
Fred?
No?
Madam President,
We've
point of
already-
order, I think it's
we've
been
already
called
got
out
that
as
one.
well.
It's emergency.
580 should be laid over.
You're going to, all right, you're going to lay over 580?
That's,
Service Master?
excuse me, Madam President.
Yes, sir, Mr. Woods?
Is that the one that was added on for janitorial services?
Yes, that's the ad for Service Masters for janitorial.
And that one is being laid over?
Apparently, that's the will of the council to withhold unanimous consent and lay this one over for a week.
Can I ask a question?
Comes without
of the
discussion, Madam
administration?
President. By the rules, unanimous consent is without discussion.
It is.
Okay, that's true.
That's
So-
just the rules.
Yeah, this one is withholding unanimous consent, so it will lay over for 1 week.
Announcements.
All right, let's start on my left with Mr. Manzi.
Yes, Madam President, I just want to recognize one of our leaders in our community. He works very hard in the campground and in the bottom area, Mr. Cashmere Money. Mr. Money, will you stand? We just want to, let's give him a big round of applause for all that he does in those areas. Again, hopefully the 1st of October, after the beginning of the new fiscal year, we will be announcing a new series of community meetings across the length and breadth of District 2. There's a lot of progress taking place as it relates to road resurfacing and sidewalks and community center improvements. And we look forward to being able to articulate that progress to all communities across the district. And that concludes my announcements.
All right, thank you, Mr. Daves.
Thank you, Madam President. We will have a District 5 community meeting this evening at St. Pius Church on Sage Avenue. Starts at, starts at 6 p.m. I look forward to having the mayor there, along with Director of Public Safety, Admiral Landolt, and Director of Public Services, Mr. Harkins. That's again 6:00 p.m., St. Pius Church on Sage Avenue. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Richardson.
Thank you, Madam President. I would like to announce that the Tobinville Crichton Community Development Corporation will be meeting on Monday, September 19th at 6 p.m. in the Tobinville Library. And the purpose of this meeting is to establish a Tobinville Community Action Group, a CAG group for Tobinville. And they're going to be working in cooperation with the police department in an effort to keep the neighborhoods safe in the Tobinville area and to advocate for neighborhood restoration and development. This meeting is going to be for all citizens in the Tobinville area on Monday, September the 19th at 6 p.m. in the Tobinville Library. And this last one is just a comment that on August of 2015, I submitted my comprehensive capital plan for District 1. It was $3 million worth of projects. In the plan, I submitted $800,000 to start closing the ditches in Trinity Gardens. And this plan is supposed to have started October 1, 2015. And I just wanted I'm mad to know as of today, nothing has happened. We are in September 2016, and not one ditch has been closed. And I'm asking the mayor to use his powers to speed up this process. If you look at the amount of money out of the $3 million I submitted, less of my money has been used in any other council district. And I'm certainly concerned about the ditches in Trinity Garden. With the Zika virus, we've had more than one case found in Mobile, and that water standing there year-round in those ditches. Want the ditches closed, and I have put the money there. I can't close them. They would have to be closed by the administration. Asking the mayor to look into this and step up the process and start closing those ditches in Trinity Garden. Thank you, Madam President.
Okay, Mrs. Rich.
Thank you. I appreciate getting to the point. I know it was laid over, the improvements to Medal of Honor Park, Playground Express, and there is a rendering. Feel free to come up and look at it. I'll be happy to answer any questions any council person has, and I'll send them the rendering as well. I'll certainly talk more about it next week. On Friday, there is a constitutional bell ringing commemoration service at the USS Alabama. The public is welcome. It starts at 1:30. And again, that's a great educational tool for our children and for adults. The Senior Center is having a fundraiser through the foundation, which is a 501c3 group, totally volunteers. All of their funding goes back into our center. And this will be on September 29th from 6 to 8 p.m. It is $30 for a single and $50 for a couple. It involves a buffet supper and a silent auction. And again, it will take place at the center. This is the first time we're able to utilize the center for the fundraising event. And I hope that my colleagues that are able to attend will attend, and also the general public, because this is the one big fundraiser for the foundation. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Small.
Thank you, Madam President. This evening will be a very busy evening for me. I will be visiting the citizens throughout District 3 starting at 5:00 p.m. The Oakdale Community Action Group will have their meeting this evening at Smalls Mortuary, 950 South Broad Street, inviting all the citizens in the Oakdale community to please come out and support our Community Action Group. Again, that will be this evening at 5:00 p.m. Also this evening at 6:30 p.m., the Riverside Community Action Group will have its Community Action Group meeting at the Riverside Baptist Church on Dolphin Island Parkway. Tonight they are having a special presentation. The Mobile United Health Task Force aims to improve health throughout the 36605 area code through the community-based interventions. Also will be joining them will be the Mobile County Health Department and also the University of South Alabama. inviting all the citizens in District 3, 36605 zip code to please come out to the Riverside Baptist Church tonight at 6:30 p.m. for this community forum on health. Again, this is not just for the Riverside Community Action Group, this is for all the citizens in the 36605, which is the District 3 zip code. And that will be tonight again at 6:30 p.m. at the Riverside Baptist Church. Also, this coming week, starting tomorrow, the 5th quarter classic will be kicking off starting tomorrow at Blount High School with a college fair at 9:00 a.m. This is a very exciting time for the city of Mobile that we are having a classic game returning back to Mobile, Florida A&M and Tuskegee University. This will even go on to Friday with several events such as concerts, step shows, unto Saturday morning with a parade downtown at 10:00 a.m. and the big game at 6:00 on Saturday evening. Inviting all the citizens to please support this event on this coming week. I believe that the Sports Authority said that about 9,000 tickets have been sold. The goal is about 12,000. And I believe that we're going to reach that goal plus more. And again, that will be this coming week, the 5th quarter classic, FAMU, and also Tuskegee University. For more information, log on to 5thquarterclassic.com. And also this coming Saturday morning, as our president had mentioned earlier, is the 29th annual Alabama Coastal Cleanup. And one of the sites is located in District 3, which is at the McNally Park off of Dolphin Island Parkway. And asking for all the volunteers to come out at 8:00 a.m. until about 12 noon. Again, that will be this Saturday, September 17, 2016 at the McNally Park. Again, remember that District 3 is the place where things are happening. Thank you, Madam President.
Okay, Mr. Williams?
Thank you. This past weekend, I had the pleasure of participating in a Tunnel to Towers run. It is a nationwide event. About 20 other cities throughout our country conduct similar events. This is in the 15th anniversary of 9/11. It is a story about, it was started based on Stephen Spiller that had a radio call that heard his unit was moving in to the area of the Twin Towers on 9/11, 15 years ago. He was off duty. He was supposed to meet his brothers for golf, and he turned around, or tried to, and found out that traffic was no longer being allowed to re-enter the city. He abandoned his vehicle in a tunnel, grabbed his gear, and joined his unit, joined his brothers as they geared up and went into the Twin Towers. He did not survive. And his family started a foundation that worked very diligently to establish these runs throughout our country. We were one of the first ever, and that was done under the leadership of Ed Murphy of the Tillman Corner area. He tells me that we are, let's say, working very hard, but not very hopeful that we can continue under the same format. What I'm asking the administration to work with me in making sure that we don't forget in Mobile, in this great patriotic town, and that we somehow find a way to establish a September 11th event under the leadership of Mr. Murphy. I'm certain that we can make this happen. It was really a pleasure of mine. I won't tell you what my time was, and hopefully there's not too many pictures out there of me running. It's not a pretty sight, but it was a fantastic event, and hats off to all those who contributed. I was asked to comment this weekend about the anniversary of September 11th. And one of my comments was, this is a great patriotic city. There's a lot of cities when you say, where does the flag fly? What are the military towns? And I think that most Americans would name San Diego or Washington, D.C., or some of the other major military cities. But they're remiss in not mentioning Mobile, Alabama. Not only do we have the Coast Guard here, but we also have a great retiree presence. And this is a tremendous military town, very patriotic. We're one of the few cities that still maintain the observance of Veterans Day and Armed Forces Day, and those patriotic holidays. Throughout District 4, as I know it is throughout the city, there are great leaders in communities that are military retirees. Today, my guests from the Lloyd Station are led by a United States Air Force retiree, Clovis Parker. For a long time, been leading the Lloyd Station community to make sure that they receive, that his residents receive proper services, always. He is, long before I came in, been engaged in city business, especially with regard to his community and how his community ties into the greater community. It's been a real pleasure to work with him, and I look forward to having his delegation meet with Mr. Amberger and Ms. Herbie after this meeting to discuss some issues of importance to our community. So again, thanks to y'all for coming, and thanks to the administration for hosting us today. Lastly, and along the same note, wasn't it great to hear a young lady sing the national anthem? I think that's something that's missing in our regular meetings, and maybe we don't do it every single meeting, but maybe a goal nice to achieve would be once a month. I would ask my colleagues to scour their districts, and let's see if we can make that happen. Thank you, Madam President.
Okay. I'm going to turn back to Mr. Manzi, who has another announcement.
Yes, Madam President, and looking behind me, I saw this beautiful rendering for Medal of Honor Park. I am so proud of what is going to be accomplished out in District 6, and I just want to put the residents of District 2 in the Maysville and in the campground and bottom communities that we will be having renderings hopefully soon of improvements to our parks in our communities. It won't quite be a $900,000 park, but it'll be a phase 1, and we'll work to add on to it as the years go by. So I want to commend Councilwoman Rich and Commissioner Hudson for their efforts in bringing that to bear. And I want to thank in advance this great administration, and also Commissioner Ludgood for her support in the parks that we're going to be developing in District 2. And also I wanted to just spend a moment or two again on the two gentlemen who I referenced at the beginning of the meeting. Bishop Bobby Millsap, a prolific minister in our community, known universally throughout our areas. He worked here at Government Plaza when I was a member of the Youth Council some 15, 16 years ago, and met him then. Passed suddenly, certainly is a shock to his church, the Temple of Jerusalem Church family. I know a lot of their members live in the city of Mobile, and we certainly want to keep him, his wife, his children, and his church family in our prayers. And also Dr. Robert Zozar. Now, I have not had the opportunity to ever meet Dr. Zozar. I never met him, I've heard of him, but a good tree beareth good fruit. I've met many of his children that are active civically in many respects across this community. So no doubt, though I never met him and won't have that opportunity, I see him each and every time I interact positively with his children. And so that's a positive reflection on him, on their mother, the commitment that they've shown to investing positively, not only in our young people, but in this community as a whole. So I would ask again that we would keep the Millsap and also the Zarzor family in our prayers.
Okay, thank you. On September 27th, we will hold our off-site meeting. The meeting will be held at the VIA Senior Center. We will begin at 6 o'clock. We do 2 of these off-site meetings annually. We will also have our annual Christmas meeting over at the Old City Hall coming up. We'll get you that date, but it's usually right at the beginning of December. So just put those on your calendar. Again, the 27th, we will be off-site at VIA at 6:00 p.m. Yes, September. Yes. Couple of things in my district. The Old Shell Road resurfacing project is pretty much complete. They are now just doing some of the finishing touches, the painting, the striping, and they've got some cleanup to do. I've heard from some folks about some of the asphalt has gotten on the medians and crosswalks. They will be coming back and cleaning up. I've been in contact with Nick Amberger, and he assures me that he will make sure that everything is done and completed before they actually leave the project. Would like to thank members of the Magnolia Grand and Legend subdivisions in Magnolia Grove for meeting with me, Dan Otto, and representatives from Magnolia Grove Golf Course last week. We're talking about trying to make some improvements on the entryway into the golf course. Those are city medians that need a little bit of help. So we are partnering with the homeowners out there to try to make these improvements, and we're discussing how best to go about doing that, but I appreciate them all coming out and working to partner so that we will have a much better looking entryway to one of the city's valuable amenities. Also tomorrow, speaking about valuable amenities, I will be touring Mobile Botanical Gardens with Andrew Saunders and Robin Krachek to see all of their new projects. They're doing a terrific job at the Botanical Gardens. If you have not been out there, please do make a point of going by and touring. Take your family. It's a wonderful place to just sit and relax and see just how beautiful it really is. It's a jewel in Mobile. If you have not been there, please go see it. With that, we will adjourn unless there are any more announcements or discussion from anyone.
I have a question.
Mrs. Rich?
Since we're moving our meeting till 6 p.m. on the 27th, what about pre-conference? Are we going to adjust that, or what's your thoughts?
We generally go ahead and have our normal pre-conference and then just move out there at 6 o'clock. Unless, you know, it's not a set in stone, you know, we can change that, we can talk. Normally, we do keep the pre-conference at the same time, but it's something we can discuss and change if we need to.
Okay, so that's okay. 9 a.m.?
Yeah, if we do change the times, we will certainly put that out to the media to let everyone know in plenty of time.
Thank you.
All right, anyone else? All right, we are adjourned.